Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to the latest episode of Vinyl and Vision. Here we are with episode 73, and tonight's very special guests are Allan and Barb Vest. Allan and Barb make up the band doubleVee. They're an Oklahoma band, and I don't know anything about Oklahoma. So it was great to be able to speak with them to kind of give a little bit perspective of what the state of Oklahoma has to offer as far as music is concerned. Obviously, I've listened to their music, and what you are listening to now is the first single off of their new album, Treat Her Strangely. The song is called When Dawn Comes Tonight. At the very end of the episode, we'll feature a small clip of the second single off that album, Matador Bell. It was great to be able to speak with Allan and Barb. They both have kind of extensive careers in and around the music scene and entertainment industry in general. Allan comes from a band called Starlight Mints before doubleVee formed. Barb was hosting a nationally syndicated radio program involving movie soundtracks and the composers of those soundtracks. So I get into some of those things, both of those topics with them, in addition to, of course, the album that they chose tonight, Blonde Redhead's Melody of Certain Damaged Lemons. Very difficult and complex album, I would say. I don't know how you feel about it. That's how I feel about it. There's a lot going on there. Between the band members, between the lyrical content, between the actual song structures themselves. Lots of stuff there to get into, and we did that. So I hope you enjoy it. Barb and Allan, as you can tell from maybe listening to some of the music that doubleVee has, is equally entertaining and unique and eclectic music itself, but certainly rock heavy, certainly poppy, certainly moments of orchestral arrangements in some of those songs. It's very, very interesting stuff. So I encourage you to check out that record when it becomes available. Add it to your queues now on all of your streaming platforms. And on July 15th, when it comes out, it'll be right there waiting for you to consume the entire album. They will have CDs available as well. I encourage you to go to their website, doubleVee.net. And links will obviously be provided in the show notes, so if you can't remember that, just go to the show notes, and links to find their music will be there. And and hopefully we will all be able to get to see them play sometime very soon. You'll understand what I mean when you listen to the show. I hope you enjoy it. We here at Vinyl and Vision, all that we ask is that you please do all the things you do with the internet. Like, share, comment, subscribe, that's a big one. Rate and review, that's another big one. Rating and reviewing podcasts is the best way to help them out in a non-financial way. So if you feel a little broke, kind of like myself, just scroll down to the bottom of the feed if you don't mind hitting 5 stars and leaving a nice word of encouragement. That's great. Very, very nice. We appreciate it very deeply. If you care to help us in more of a financial way, you can visit our website, psychicstatic.net, and any purchase you make through there helps us out. Without further ado, folks, enjoy the show.
So
Yeah. Well, I don't know how you feel about it, but I guess sometimes a mystique is kind of cool, and like you use like a doppelganger or a stage name or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's
I kind of wish I went back in time and had a weird stage name sometimes.
Well, your birth name is Allan Vest.
That's my birth name, yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, you're adopted.
I was adopted, and so that's another story. Maybe we'll get into that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, how interesting. So that's kind of like your given name.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I mean, you had it was a good circumstance being adopted by that family.
It's funny. I can tell you that it probably was in a good way. Yeah. My father passed away last year, but I did meet my birth father, biological father, about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Found him on one of the ancestry kind of thing.
Huh.
And so that went all good. And then we found my maternal side, which my biological father did not know anything about anything. So he
Really?
was not informed that anyone was pregnant. It was just
Oh,
it was just a shock for him.
that's weird.
So we did find a half sisters and stuff, and kind of made a little bit of contact with the maternal side of the family. But anyway,
Kind of a long story.
Yeah,
it's
interesting.
kind of ongoing, So
But it was interesting because you spent your life wondering and had like redacted information from his adoption agency saying that his birth mother had musical tendencies and
Yeah.
was artistic, and his birth father owned a record store. So, I mean,
Oh.
going through his life knowing that he had, some kind of musical tendencies in his genetics, I think
yeah,
really
it was very important to
drive
me
a little bit.
to knowing that I had in the blood, that it was in the blood, kind of pushed
Yeah.
me to pursue music.
Interesting. So your adopted parents, they were not musical types, they're not
Not at all.
artistics.
Not at all.
What was that like
I
growing
was
up
the
in the
oddball
house?
in the family. They had a piano. We had an old rickety piano that was like my best friend. Until I got a guitar at age like 12 or so. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Just because I can see it now, I mean, what is this setup behind you? It looks like you're in your studio.
Yeah. It's funny that we do it this way. It's just easiest. It's kind of annoying, but I did put. It's kind of hard to see because we have
The record up there.
what?
The record is up there.
A little later.
Oh, that blonde redhead. Yeah, the melody.
Yeah, this was the guest room here. Allan moved in about 12 years ago here to the house that I'd been living in, and this was a guest bedroom, and we took everything out of it, and he had this nice long table that wouldn't fit. So my dad and he went out there and chopped it in half, brought it up here and put it back together.
We
sawed it in half.
Yeah.
And reattached it, and made it a little shorter so that it would actually fit in here.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's bass traps everywhere. It's a pretty small room, but we've done all our music here, so it's been great.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds great. I mean, I can speak from firsthand experience. I've been listening to all of your music. The new record that's coming out, Treat Her Strangely.
Yep.
Can you tell me a little bit about that name? Like why you chose Treat Her Strangely?
Well, it's in the lyrics of the first song.
Right.
So it's like, in it, I mean,
it just fit.
We wrote it.
We were looking at a
yeah.
few different ideas, and it just seemed to be kind of an encompassing idea. But though we didn't want it to have a negative connotation. It's more like a magical thing. Treat her with, respect and mystery, and it's not meant to be like, hey, freak her out.
Yeah.
So we don't want people to misunderstand it that way. But
Right,
it's just a little bit different. We thought it might catch some more attention that way.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like from what I can gather by listening to the music, I've listened to I think everything that you have out currently. That first record, what was it called again? The Jimmy the Ripper.
Fables of Jack the Rider.
Jack the Rider, yes.
Yeah.
So I listened to that, and then the EP as well. I can't remember the names of your albums.
Songs
right
for
now.
Birds and Bats. Yeah,
Yes.
all these long titles.
Yeah. It's been a Now I didn't understand the discography, like the chronologic order. So which came first, the EP or the
Jack
full
the
album?
Rider.
The album came first, and then the EP.
That was kind of a long time in the making, that album. We'd put a single out in like 2013.
Put 3 demo singles out.
Yeah.
Like years before.
Kind of local radio buzz, and then we didn't really just, got married, in 2015, and then it was, kind of like the name doubleVee kind of made more sense, after we got married, and then we just kind of, put our heads down and made a,
Well, then we had the EP, and then we had this new one.
It was sort of just a process. We thought we were gonna like make it all here, which we did make it all here, but we didn't. We thought we were gonna mix it, and then have it mastered. But then we kind of like got a little cold feet, and my friend Wes, who
are we going back to the original album?
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we sort of mixed part of it here, part of it in Denton, with the guy Matt Pence, who is in the band Centrodo.
Centromatic, yeah.
Centromatic, yeah. Sorry.
I know what you were doing.
That's
there.
okay. I'm not good with names either. As
Yeah,
you can
I
tell.
know.
We were looking at your archives of who you.
Yeah,
who you've
I've met
interviewed.
Will a couple of times. He's a good guy.
He's a wonderful guy. Yeah, I've met him a couple of times too, and then of course I did that conversation with him, which was great. And that I love that band. And Matt Pence is a great drummer, and I know that he's done production work as well.
Oh,
so
he's a great production guy.
Mhm. Yeah, we enjoyed.
I mean, that studio there. I mean, I don't know if he owns the studio there we worked at, but
Yes.
It partially owns it, but it's a great studio.
Cool.
Sure.
In Denton, huh? Yeah.
Denton, yeah.
I'll be heading
that
there
was
soon.
cute.
That was quite a long time ago.
All right. Well, so like what I was saying about the chronology of the records, so the full length record was first, and then there was the EP, and I actually, so I get, okay, so then that makes sense, because I was thinking that this new record, Treat Her Strangely, is kind of more akin to the EP, the songs about cats and birds, or I'm sorry, bats and birds.
Yeah.
Cats and birds. I love
I'm gonna
that.
screw this all up.
No, it's fine. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that.
Well, there's less of a theme. It was more of a just one
Exactly.
song after one song. That it actually, the genesis of it, really, our publishing company, Bank Robber Music, Rough Trade, had asked their bands to potentially think about doing cover songs that might be able to use for placements, and so we came up with this big list of cover songs, and then just thought, we don't really want to work on any of these. Let's dig into some of our own stuff. So.
Yeah, we've done a
Okay.
couple covers for weird reasons that aren't gonna ever see the light of day. But we had a good time making this record. It was all during quarantine, during
Pandemic.
pandemic. So
And which is still ongoing.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, I mean, what have you been able to do any shows yet, or not at all?
Well, we've never played a show.
What?
So we've been a studio band. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we had a big concept for Jack the Rider that we wanted it to be this big rotating set with huge, scenes and more of a theatrical performance, and just didn't really have the budget or the time or do anything, and just thought we would just stay as a studio band to kind of hone our craft that way.
I was in a band called Starlight Mints that toured throughout the 2000s, and so I'm kind of like,
he was ready for a little break.
Yeah.
However,
it's been kind of,
we did just recruit a couple of members to join our live lineup.
We've been practicing. So.
You have?
We're shooting for fall, just depending on how fast we can get it all together and what the virus is doing at that time.
Yeah. So we're like, gung ho on getting on stage and stuff, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Okay. That's gonna play into something I have to ask you about later, but let's see. I guess maybe Barb, can I start with you? First of all, it's very nice to meet you. We kind of just jumped right into this.
Yeah, we did. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's how it goes sometimes.
A little nervous energy. You probably can tell.
Yes, I feel that way myself. You guys are in Oklahoma, correct?
Yes, we are currently.
Okay. And so I know about a little bit of Allan's musical background. What about your background?
My background is mainly, my family is very musical. My mother and grandmother are both pianists. My grandmother was a composer who would play songs at her piano with a tape recorder by her side, and we have a bunch of those tapes. And we remastered some of her things, and one of her songs we actually orchestrated and added backing vocals as a surprise gift for my mother.
Yeah,
because my grandmother died when she was 56 years old of a sudden heart attack, and so never really got to go as far as she wanted to with any of that. Lived in a
really amazing
Texas town.
Woman. I mean, I never met her, obviously, but I just know her through the tapes, because she did a lot of tapes where she would talk to you, because she lived in Fort Worth,
Bluffdale, Texas, little town.
And would on the tape, recorder, say, "Hey, Barb and Amy," and so it's there's all this history with her.
That's so
and
nice.
Music's fantastic, it's just all. I don't know. You say more. Sorry, this is directed to you.
Yeah.
No. You're right. She's very talented. I wouldn't say I don't know. I'm nowhere near as naturally gifted as Allan is here, but I'd done various things. Sang in junior high choir and this and that, but then didn't really get seriously into music composition and production and all that. But he had heard me before we even met. He heard my voice on the radio. I hosted produced a movie music program, public radio, called Filmscapes, and it was an hour-long weekly, different theme. And Allan used to tune in and hear it, and enjoyed it. And then later was introduced to me, a mutual friend said, "Oh, that's Barbara. She used to host a film music show," and that kind of
that was
what kicked us off.
We
really
immediately we met each other. We met each other actually through Derek Brown. He used to play in the Mints for a little bit. Plays with the Flaming Lips now.
Okay.
He introduced us at it was
briefly at a benefit concert for
for Haiti. Yeah, back in 2010.
But it was kind of like one of those little awkward moments, where we kind of just like met, and then
I thought she was like way younger than me. I mean, she is younger than me, but like I thought she was like too young for me.
Yeah.
Low lighting and all. But,
I say, yeah.
so it was a few weeks before we had like met again, and then he made the Filmscapes connection, and then that was kind of it.
I played her some more
Morricone for me,
that she had never heard. So.
Oh wow!
Piece, which then we later used as the entry music for our wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, how lovely! That makes sense.
Got married in a cave.
In a cave?
Yeah, just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
Really? No ceremony, no people.
It's a self-uniting ceremony. In Colorado, it's legal. There's a couple other states. It's more of kind of like a Puritan, I think, originally, but just where you can marry yourselves.
Pennsylvania.
It's
DC,
still legal. You have a marriage license, but you don't have to have a preacher, saying, "Hey, you're married." We wrote our own ceremony and rented out Cave of the Winds in Manitou Springs, Colorado, and it was us and a photographer friend and videographer,
Dressy Bessie,
and who lived in Denver. Just
one of the guys from Apples and Stereo, actually.
Yeah, I know that band. Yeah.
Shot the video.
Guitar player, shot the video.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, it was a blast.
It sounds like such a unique experience, such a like very fitting to obviously your tastes, and so like a unique experience. I mean, everyone else just kind of does the church, or goes, if they want to do it on the cheap, they go like downtown, like down to City Hall or whatever.
Well, we did have a ceremony. I mean, we did have a reception like
a couple weeks later.
We did the honeymoon. We did the wedding and then the honeymoon. We spent in Colorado, and we sort of hiked around and driving around and
$1 million highway. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's great.
Wow.
And then we kind of showed sort of a video of everything at our reception, show everybody.
And we made a little compilation or whatever.
So yeah, there's that.
But anyway, music has just been, I've never really known a time without music. I mean, my family's very musical. We would make little Christmas tapes, at Christmas time to send to our relatives. And but then to get together with Allan, and we just had a blast with it. When our nieces were young, had them over, and we wrote a song called Slumber Party and produced it, and it's just, rock and roll.
Yeah.
Interesting. And that show that Allan heard you through, what was the name of that again?
Filmscapes.
And is that available anywhere? Can you find
Not
that?
anymore. It was
nationally syndicated.
Yeah, it was nationally syndicated for about 4 years. It was a weekly 1 hour, and then I did a shorter Filmscapes intermission, which was 5 minutes daily with a weekly theme.
Oh, okay.
Like all music from Tim Burton films, or music.
She got to interview Danny Elfman too.
Yeah, I saw that. You got to interview a couple of like very notable composers,
Philip
right?
Glass.
Right. How was that for you? Like, is that nerve-wracking to
Oh, very, yeah. Especially, I've always been a little high strung, so to actually get to be speaking to someone that meant so much. I'm like, we're like waiting for the official interview to begin. We're just kind of chit-chatting because he's such a nice guy. And I'm like, and I had Oingo Boingo on cassette and listened to it all the time, wore it out. And, I'm such a geek, but he was really nice.
It's something interesting that I might forget about is that we were watching a little bit of Blonde Redhead stuff, because honestly, I'm a huge fan of that record that we're going to talk about, but I don't know much about the band. The band's kind of mysterious,
I would tend to agree. I actually really don't know them either. My one experience is that I know the one song on this record by chance, because it was
from the Rick and Morty, probably.
No, actually, it was put on a mixtape that I got from an ex-girlfriend of mine. I think it was maybe 2003, maybe, or something like that. I'm not sure what year.
Which song?
A Cure.
Oh, a Cure, really?
Yeah, I thought it was weird. It was interesting. It's definitely like a weird song, especially
That's
as
like the guy singing it. Well, she comes in later. She
does.
that song.
Yeah, she's like sings a chorus, I believe.
It's like a waltz. Yeah, that song.
Yeah, that's an awesome song.
Is that what it is? It's a waltz?
Yeah. I didn't realize that today. I was thinking about it. I was like, what is the time signature? And I was like, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it's a waltz.
Yeah.
Well, they have some really weird time signatures, actually, all of that record.
They sure do. Yeah. And that's why it's kind of hard to pinpoint, it's kind of hard to kind of pigeonhole it into some genre or some specific kind of style.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really unique. It's great. I'm sorry. So Barb, so you were, what time, like at what age did you start playing music, do you think? Like even like fiddling or dabbling?
Oh,
as a kid.
3 or 4. I mean, we had a piano in my house, since I was a baby.
Yeah. But did
So-
your parents like try to give you lessons or try to?
Oh, I
get you
took lessons as a child. Took lessons till
Your mom.
from
I mean,
like 5
yeah.
to 12 or so, and then mom would try to teach us and
Yeah.
harmonize. And my sister and I, she'd teach Amy and I to harmonize to the sound of music and things like that.
She's very, I mean, we're kind of yin and yang in the sense that she can sit there with sheet music and do it, where I memorize things. Even I was like in the orchestra. That was kind of my first things. I played the viola and then cello. It's like 10, 11 or whatever. And I would memorize things by ear, and I would go to these like competitions and have the sheet music in front of me, and I gotta have it memorized because it was almost hard to
right
it,
to just go by
my
feel.
brain works differently.
Right. So you can read, but you just chose to memorize the pieces.
Yeah, I mean, like once I got into guitar, which was a little bit after that, or simultaneously, really, that's when things started to make sense, chords and theory and stuff like that. I learned all from guitar, but then back translated it to piano. So it's like I've kind of like started with piano, took some lessons, didn't really get along with my teacher, then got into the orchestra, and at the same time guitar, and then it was kind of Led Zeppelin. I learned a lot of Led Zeppelin back in the day. That's a pretty good lesson, if you ask me. Learning a bunch of Led Zeppelin songs, different tunings, different, whatnot. A lot of Beatles, stuff like that. So sorry, I just kind of took this away.
That's fine. No, he really, I will fully admit, Allan introduced me to this album.
Yeah.
I think I may have heard it in passing. I'm sure I would have, but
yeah,
as far as intensive listening, I think he put a couple of songs on a compilation early on.
Yeah.
Too.
This album stays with me,
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, considering you guys are mentioning the album again, what like when, Allan, you were the first person to experience this record?
Well,
and
not the very first, but I mean,
well, I mean, between the two.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
I was living in Norman. We had finished our first Mints record without the band because we had kind of broken up, but we had all these demos, and I'd been talking to a label in New York, See Through Broadcasting, and so I went to New York, 1999, 2000-ish. Made a record, spent like 2 months. Dave Sardi, I don't know if you know who that is. He's kind of one of Rick Rubin's like
engineers.
Like he works for Rick Rubin basically. He's done some film scores and stuff.
Oh, okay.
He had just done Dandy Warhol's big record right before we did ours. But ours was basically we just made demo. It was our demos that we made in Norman in a nice studio. I took all the tapes to New York and we put them through Pro Tools. So it was my first Pro Tools, experience. So came back from that, and then there was this John Mooneyham, this kind of musicologist guy who lives in Oklahoma City here now. He had a pirate radio station in Norman, where I was living, which is the college town, University of Oklahoma. And I just happened, I had one of those mini disc. So it was like a mini disc recorder that I would almost record some stuff. If I heard something, I'd plug it in and record it. And I had kind of like you did when people did when they were younger with cassette tapes.
Sure.
And I was like, what the heck is this song? I love it, And then I don't know how I found out it was Blonde Redhead, whether John mentioned, oh, that was Blonde Redhead or whatever, but it just stuck with me, that song. And it was This Is Not, which is like the 7th track on the record.
Oh, okay.
And I just loved that song. And so then, put this album out, then got the band sort of back together, recruited some people, went on tour and found the record, came out the same year as our record, 2000, found the record on tour and just fell in love with it and played it all the time on tour. So, and that was just kind of, it was me, like the rest of the band were kind of like, they wouldn't say, hey, play that record. It was kind of just like my, like, you know.
Yeah. Well,
Thing.
so is the life of touring band, where whoever's driving
Yeah, I was always up
chooses what.
shotgun. I was hardly ever driving. Not
Yeah.
not biggest fan of driving big vans, extended vans. So
Sure. I don't like long
but
distances. I go right to sleep.
yeah,
Yeah. The band doesn't like that.
yeah, we did a lot of all nighters.
Yeah, I
Uh,
bet. You did a lot of gigging with that band, right?
yeah. But I mean that CD. I mean that it changed, like, for me. And I just had gotten a Mac too that year, so it was my first computer. I've been working with cassette, 4 tracks, 8 tracks cassette, doing pre-production for all, for all of our music before that. And then just got into computer music, and really that album kind of changed the way I looked at things, because I started using synthesizers within the computer, using a program called Reason,
Okay.
with Pro Tools. Pro Tools is kind of something you probably know.
Yeah.
The name of, but Reason, Propeller Heads Reason, which is still a thing, which I still use. And so I started kind of messing with synths, kind of bass synths and stuff like that, which kind of has kind of, been a thing, I think.
Kind of bled into
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. So stayed with me. So
Yeah.
and I think
And
that
now,
record has a little kind of like this underline of synth through it,
yeah,
and
that's true.
it has a piano thing too. So
Yeah. And so you heard the song on the radio, and then, well, like, when did you go and get the record? Did you go to the store or something, or?
yeah, I mean, it was on tour. It was really kind of a crazy time for me, because everything was like, putting out a record, getting the band together, doing this, doing that. So I definitely remember it being on tour. I don't remember what city,
Okay.
but it was like really kind of one of the last, because you're talking about, besides like buying CDs from friends or other bands and stuff, it was kind of one of the last CDs I bought, honestly. I mean, I
Sure.
bought Extraordinary Machine by Fiona Apple when that came out. That was a big deal for me. I don't know why. But those 2 CDs, I can't really think of other CDs I've sought out,
Right.
to
Right.
buy.
And so now,
The
now you
whole,
introduced this record to Barb.
yeah,
And so when would that happen?
That would have been
right-
very early on.
yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
were making each other compilations,
Yeah.
those first couple of months, because we didn't move in. He didn't move in for about 5 months. So
Yeah,
Muted.
I probably put the In Particular, which is that kind of the first real song on the album, the XXL
Yep.
song.
Okay.
And
yeah. I mean, that one just
that one's just, and that one
Grabs you.
actually, that's kind of what did it for me, was when I bought the record and that first song came. Well, it's really the second song, but that song came on. That just blew my mind. It was like, I love this album.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's a great song, and like just probably a good introduction, because it's just so weird and like mysterious sounding.
Yeah,
I mean, it kind of
yeah.
almost feels like there's something bubbling going
Yeah.
on, like you're at the bottom of like a beaker or something.
Yeah, yeah.
very haunting.
And so, yeah, and so Barb, so what was your experience with that? Like, so Allan was making you a mixtape, I guess, had this song on it. So what did you experience when you heard it?
Oh, chills, really.
Yeah, her voice is.
Causey's voice, it just grabs you right off the bat. And then just those lyrics, of that particular song, I even wrote that particular song, the beginning of it, saying, lying on my back, I heard music, felt unsure and catastrophic, had to tell myself it's only music, blows my mind,
but it's
like that.
Yeah.
Just,
It's
just
a song about
chills
it's a song about a song almost, or
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And
Geez,
it's brilliant,
It is. I really liked it. Are you guys big lyrics people?
Oh yeah.
As far as like when you listen, I mean, because obviously as writers, you want to convey specific messages or feeling through your music, but like when you're listening.
She's probably more so than I am. I'm kind of I don't go seek out lyrics and read them I've never been that way. I've always been like, my imagination, what is he saying? Oh, could he be saying this? Could he be saying this? I'll never know, maybe. I've always been kind of like more curious, but want to keep it to myself, kind of thing.
I like to know what the artist, they were trying to get across. So
But I think
I
that,
find if I get a new album, I'll sit down with the lyrics or
Yeah.
look them up and read them the first time just because I want to know.
Yeah. Are you a
Well,
big
it's,
vinyl record fan?
We do have,
we have a big
pretty big
collection, but
collection.
we're not big. I mean,
we need a better setup to listen. This house, we've really outgrown this house, and we have crates of records everywhere, and just for a little bit.
we have a setup upstairs, and
Cramped.
we are in the middle. It's a 3-layer house, small but 3 layers. Where the studio's in the middle layer, and then we have upstairs here, which is our record player setup, TV/TV.
The attic room,
Yeah.
the Greg
Yeah.
Brady
Okay.
setup.
But yeah, I mean, because that just leads me to wonder, or like imagine, you sitting with a big record, you have the either gatefold or you have like, some insert that you'll pull out, to just sit down and read lyrics, right?
Yeah. Except for when we're listening to digital stuff.
Yeah.
And you have to
And of course, this the Blonde and Redhead, I don't think it ever. Maybe it had an album release or actual vinyl, but they did release it on vinyl a couple of years ago.
Oh
the
yeah,
20th
for the
20th
20th.
anniversary of it.
version was released.
I saw
So
that. Yeah.
we need to get that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's on our list.
So I was asking you about the lyrics for a reason. Maybe Barb, maybe you're more familiar with this because you are interested in the lyrics, but are you familiar with like the lyrical content of this record and kind of how it seems like it's about their breakup?
It is.
Well,
I've read about that.
Okay.
And it's about their relationship. I'm not sure. It's still a mystery to me.
well, it's not really. I mean, this is not. It's about her other relationship breaking up and
I
then
think
moving
so.
and finding and being introduced to
Yeah.
the twins. And
Well, that
Yeah.
song, yes, that song in particular, the song called In Particular, but
this is is the one that talks about the relationship.
Yeah, this is not. Yeah, there's two. Yeah, that's yeah.
Well, I
Because
mean, I think that
I think
just
they
in
all
general-
touch on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. They all
Yeah.
kind of like are. This is essentially a breakup record, and it's oddly enough, it's about the members in the band. It's about Amadeo and what's her name, Kazu.
Kazu, yeah.
Kazu, yeah.
But then it was 4 years after this one until their next record because she had a terrible horseback riding accident.
Yeah,
Was
I heard
thrown
about
off
that.
and-
Yeah, she couldn't sing
Yeah,
because
like-
she got
Her
jaw
face
broken or
trampled.
something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
had, like,
see
a-
anything about the accident. I mean, I heard about it, but I didn't know like into what kind of detail it was, like how extensive the damage was. But yeah,
Her
I
jaw
know
was wired shut, apparently,
Ugh.
for some length of time. I don't know.
Oh,
how
wow.
long, but it'd be a hard thing to come back from.
Yeah,
She says that she was still working on music, and that they would laugh at her because she would try to sing. I'm sure we were, but whatever. I read something
with
about
her
that.
jaw wired shut. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine that'd be a little weird, but I mean, it's admirable to continue even even under those types of circumstances.
Right.
And I think also the one thing, and I don't want to really touch on this too much because there's not a lot said online, but she, on one interview, says that she went to America. She followed John Lurie, who's
Yeah.
co-founder of the Lounge Lizards,
Yes.
and then that he introduced them to the brothers. Did you read that at all?
I did actually. Yeah, I did
Okay.
read that.
I thought that was kind of weird. I only found it in one, which is kind of more of a recent article. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if any of that was a relationship or either.
Yeah, we can't really
Well,
speak to any of
Yeah.
of personal issues.
Anyways, it's part of the mystique of the band.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying before, I didn't know this band. Like, so when you guys made the selection for this record, I went ahead and just listened to like the first few records, because at first I didn't know what record you were going to choose. I just knew that it was going to be the artist.
Oh,
So I was
okay.
like, okay, I've heard of this band before. I know that they're interesting. I know that I should probably be listening to them anyway. So I went ahead and started at the very beginning and just started listening to each album. And I really liked it. I was really enjoying everything that I've heard. And then I got to this record and I was just like, can I just say that it made it really weird for me because I started to read after that, like, because then you chose this record and I was just like, okay, we're going to focus on this record. And I started doing the research and trying to read up as much as I could and try to find interviews, which, as you said, there's really not a lot. They don't do much, I guess,
Quiet
as far
band.
as interviews are concerned.
Mhm.
And then I started putting that whole thing together. I heard an interview where a woman specifically asked Kazu if she was still with Amadeo, and she said that they were not together anymore. So
Oh,
it's just
really?
What
like,
year was that? 'Cause I
that was actually fairly recent.
okay.
So she didn't describe like when it happened, but at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time, listening to this record, I was just like, oh, maybe this happened as early as then.
Well, they put out
Maybe.
records after that, though.
Well, I've read that it's
Yeah, they
about
have.
the relationship that they say in like Wikipedia, even I think it says that that record is about the relationship. It doesn't say they broke up, you know, or anything like that.
Right.
I've even heard that they were married, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's what I heard too. But it's just like, but there's nothing to describe the timeline. Like,
yeah,
okay, when were
exactly.
you together? When did you
Yeah.
marry? When did you
Mhm.
separate? Are you still like working
I think
together
that's
in this
great
band?
for them to be able to keep that mystique,
Yeah.
especially, in the days of social media. I mean, everything,
It's kind of like what
is
the White Stripes did,
public
you know.
consumption. And
Right. Yeah. So okay, well that's an interesting perspective then, because like I was just thinking about this going into it as like, oh my God, this is such a downer. How am I gonna talk about this album with a married couple?
Yeah.
You know? But if we keep that in mind, I guess that who knows if it's even kind of real or if that was the exact thing that was happening at this moment. But I don't know. We'll get into it and we'll see what happens, because I think that it's kind of explicit, this record, as far as like describing in detail what they were
Yeah.
going through.
It's very
And
poetic.
I can only imagine it was them. I can't imagine that it was like some other relationships that they were in, you know?
well,
Yeah.
sometimes though, I mean, musicians write a song and they use the word I, but it's not about them,
Yeah.
and it's not first person. It's meant to be more universal. But
Right.
Yeah. And that goes for a lot of stuff that we've done. I mean, I've done in the past, you know.
Yeah. Huh.
But yeah, I mean, it is a pretty heavy handed album. I'm sort of looking at the track list. And it's really ironic that that last song, which is a coda,
Hmm.
is their biggest hit. You know that?
Yes, I put that
Because
together
of the
through the
Rick and
research as
Morty
well.
thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we still haven't seen that
We still, yeah, we
episode,
have,
but
we're kind of like, there's
we've
so
seen a
many,
few episodes.
too many shows to watch right now, and Rick and Morty's on the list at some point, you know.
Yeah, I
In the
haven't
first
watched any
couple
of it.
episodes. So
But that's the best way for bands these days to get
Yeah.
recognition, is placements like
yeah,
that.
that's what
So we're in a holding pattern right now about a Netflix series.
yeah, we
Oh
don't,
yeah.
don't jinx
Maybe.
it. Don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly can't mention it now, especially if it hasn't been confirmed. But
Yeah, edit.
you have done some work. I mean, you have done some film and television scoring. Is that correct?
We had one of our songs on the EP, Last Castaways, was used in Beyond Blue, which is an immersive video game set in the ocean. You're a scuba diver learning about whales, and then you go to the submarine to listen to tunes, and our song is one of them. So
Oh, that's cool. What
Yeah.
do you know? Does that for available for any system or?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It just
Oh.
it took a while to get to.
the Switch was the last
Yeah,
one, but
Switch.
it's on everything.
We're not much gamers, so we don't know.
There's a vinyl
Yeah.
release. We have
Yeah,
Oh,
we
there's our first doubleVee song on a record. It was pretty
Yeah.
cool to get to.
that's cool.
Karen Rockman.
I might have to pick that up for my nephew, because he's actually interested in becoming a marine biologist.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
He's very
really.
interested in the deep sea world. So
Yeah, it's very educational.
Mhm.
BBC sponsored.
yeah, I think it sounds great. Sounds like something that would be right up his alley.
Mhm.
So let's see. I guess we've been kind of already talking about this album so much. We might as well just kind of get right into it. What do you say?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay.
Um,
To me, it's like one big song. It's like to
Mhm.
keep my
Yeah.
I keep notes here because when I listen to the album, it's like one big song. It's funny that your last thing was Pipers at the Gates of Dawn, because that's like one of my favorite albums of all time.
oh yeah.
And I kind of feel the same way about this album. It's like,
You-
it's this one huge,
Yeah, and thank you for mentioning that, because there's just one thing I need to say about that, is that I think near the end of the episode I was trying to say that I felt relieved because I didn't want to disappoint fans,
yeah, yeah,
because like I try to do so much research, and like that album is just so huge. There's just so much history and there's so much stuff to kind of read and go through that, like, you kind of miss things sometimes,
And there's people who love that album and people don't like that album.
Yes.
People, like hardcore Pink Floyd fans, don't like it.
Right.
They think it's the worst album. There's people like
Yeah.
me that think it's way better than anything Pink Floyd ever did after that.
Well, then you're in the same light as Roger Miller.
Yeah, yeah. And we have friends that are the same way. Like a friend of ours, two friends of ours, they're not married anymore, but named their kid Piper
Oh,
because they were such big fans, you know.
wow. Yeah, see, that's how deep it goes. That's
Yeah,
how deep fandom can be.
yeah.
Um, so this record, we should
Oh, yeah, sorry.
stay on topic with this thing. All right. So Blonde Redhead's Melody of Certain Damaged Lemons, released June 2000. And the first song is Equally Damaged. I forgot the first song is instrumental.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but it's cool.
Short.
It goes to
Leads right into in particular.
yeah, but then it comes back to that instrumental in another what song is it? Ballad of Lemons, track 6. It comes
okay.
back to a longer kind of version of that with the same sort of fluty, moogie sounding, you know.
Oh,
Sound.
okay.
'Cause
Yeah, but
the theme, you know.
interesting. I didn't know if I picked up on that actually, but it makes sense because there seems like there's kind of multiple themes that are kind of repeated
Yeah.
throughout.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, for an instrumental song, I don't usually ask questions for these songs, but it's a cute intro, you know,
40
sonically.
seconds.
Yeah, it's a how many
It
seconds?
draws you into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
40.
sets the scene. I
40
like it.
seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It has
so.
that like little twist at the end, like it was like, you know, like they're like messing around with tape faders or something.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And it's just you know, the name being Equally Damaged,
Yeah.
kind of like it's kind of like right out of the box, just kind of
Both of our faults type thing.
yeah. I mean, it's just it's a I guess an opening statement to like maybe even what the records are going to like what's going to come at you with this record, you know, kind
Yeah.
of a very very interesting placement, I think. So then the next song is In Particular. How does that sound to you guys? Because that sounds pretty cool over here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I've heard
It
it so many
grabs you
times. Yeah.
right away.
And those hand, I mean, I always forget
The
about like
claps.
every little aspect of that song, like the hand claps. It doesn't seem like a song that would have hand claps, but somehow they work, you know?
Yeah, yeah. They make a lot of weird instrumentation
Yeah.
and kind of decisions
And they're kind
work
of
in a strange
offbeat.
way.
It's not like it be a song where clap along, you know, it's just sort of like in the background, sort of, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of, remember that the Guy from
Fugazi.
Fugazi
Produced.
co-produced it. Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Guy.
Pizzicato?
Mhm.
No, I know it's Guy, but it's a Pizzicato, his
Oh, I
last
don't
name?
know. Yeah, something like that.
Pichotto.
Picciotto.
Pichotto.
Picciotto, okay.
Mhm.
So Barb, you were mentioning the lyrics to this song already. You kind of quoted some.
Mhm.
The lying on my back is basically the first verse.
Right.
Yeah.
So lying on my back, I heard music, felt unsure and catastrophic. Had to tell myself it's only music. It blows my mind, but it's like that. With these lyrics in mind, is this what you find this album was like for you when you first listened to it in its entirety, or?
Oh yeah. I mean, it just speaks to you. I mean, just the tone, her voice, and her range and the lyrics. I mean, just all of it. And just relating to her more. I mean, I just in researching a little more for today's interview and reading some of the things that she said, and I think she and I are a lot alike in terms of lack of comfort on stage, and feeling a little out of sorts, but she's obviously overcomes it and does beautifully. But
Right. Actually, that makes an interesting point because you said that you have never played yet as doubleVee. Have you performed before?
I have. I mean, in school programs, and I was in a band briefly in early college, and tribute shows, that kind of thing.
Okay,
But,
but it was nothing you
nothing,
ever got comfortable with.
Yeah, nothing really comfortable. And really, I mean, it was just like night and day starting to practice and getting an in-ear monitor and being able to hear myself. And was one of my main complaints of earlier sort of performances, was like, I can't even really hear myself. It's hard to stay on key.
That's a big thing. It took me forever to get good at.
So, I mean, it's been really thrilling now to actually, because we write and create and record our music, but it's a totally different deal, when you're doing it as a live performance.
Yeah, it's night and day, a different deal, because you're trying to put all the elements together. You're playing with people now, and this went, with the Starlight Mips too, because I would write everything, and I would show the bass player, here's how, here's the tabs for the bass line,
Mhm.
and here's the, the drums is a little different, but you say do the best you can do, drums and yeah, we're going through that process now, with the two people that we've been practicing with. It's been kind of hot, so we haven't practiced for like 3-4 weeks.
Right. It's incredibly hot, and
And-
the practice space isn't really air conditioned in the
Yeah,
main area, so we kind of
it's a really big space.
had to call it off.
Yeah.
But we practice
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
So
I'm sweating right now. I'll tell you that much.
yeah.
Mm.
I'm actually doing
you're in,
something a little
Providence.
odd. Yeah, well, West Warwick technically, but I'm in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
It'll
actually
be cooler
doing this
up
with-
north.
a little bit. Yeah, I mean, today it got up to like 90 and it's humid. So I
Mm.
actually have the door open over here right now, which is not great, but that's how it is because I'm not gonna just sit here and sweat talking to you.
Yeah, bake.
So I'm sorry, Allan, you same question for you. Like this song, is it with that lyric in mind? I mean, do you think
It sets
Well-
it up, for the rest of the song. It's like, to me, it's like, she goes, into the chorus finally. She's XX. You're like, what does that mean? It's XX, Alex. Who's Alex?
right?
And it's just like this. It's very poetic, and you don't really know what it is she's saying. Is it like a letter? XX.
Right.
I love you, kind of thing, or is it X? You're my ex-boyfriend, or
Right. Well, there's that
there's so many
connotation now too.
connotations about, and that's what I love about it. Is that it could be.
Different interpretations.
I don't know what she's talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
It's very important, and
Right. Now, so with the whole idea of those lyrics before about music blowing your mind, and like you
Yeah.
even mentioned this earlier yourself, how you thought that this song kind of seemed like it was a song about a song, basically, right?
yeah,
And how music can move you and kind of affect you in a sense. Like,
Yeah.
is there any other songs? And this is a question for either of you or both of you. Any other song you can think of that had a kind of particular sensation like that on you that you can think of?
I'm sure I could, but I don't, not off the top of my head.
Nothing that grabs you right away.
Oh gosh. No.
Yeah,
Blister in the Sun, Violent Femmes.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of grab you, but it's like a
We almost chose to do that album, actually, because
Violent
that's
Femmes,
the
really?
one album that we both,
both passionately love and have a long history
Violent.
with.
Yeah, sorry to
um,
change the subject. Sorry.
No, that's
Considered
okay.
that, but then we thought let's just a little too, a
little too
common,
mainstream.
maybe
Yeah,
we would pick this one instead.
yeah.
Yeah, I would actually, that reminds me that I didn't even ask you that question as far as just like, why did you choose this record?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you. I'll be honest with you.
Sure.
We're doing another kind of similar type thing where it's called
Just another interview where they asked a favorite album.
Yeah,
that we
and
needed to choose.
and so
And
it's one of her favorite albums, and so then this came up, and I was like, I get to do one of mine.
Well, we both read those.
Yeah,
I introduced this other
Yeah.
album, the legendary Pink Dots, the Maria Dimension. Is going to be the album we talk about, the other program.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
This one is
Interesting.
kind of the one he.
I'm gonna have to study for that one a little bit,
Yeah, right.
Which I've seen the Pink Dots 3 times, 2 times, 3 times, 3 times. Yeah, so I'm familiar with it. We've met,
Edward
Edward
Hayspell. Are you
Hayspell.
familiar with the legendary Pink Dots?
No, not really, actually.
Okay. Well, you need to, as soon as we're done here, go listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
They put out so much material. It's insane.
Yeah. They've been
They've
together.
been around since the 80s.
Yeah, I know the name for sure. I just
Yeah.
don't think I've listened to them, or if I have, I just have never, known it.
Yeah.
But
We'll make a deliberate effort because you won't regret it.
sure. No, I'm always looking for something, cool to listen to next, Is that would it happen to be the show, that record that blew my mind, or that record that got me high?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It's that one? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I've heard of some of those shows. I don't know those guys, but that, yeah, it seems similar format,
Yeah.
whatever it's
Similar
called.
format, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, we didn't even know we were going to be actually
Yeah. We thought this was
Right.
exclusively
audio.
audio. So
So
we were a little surprised, but
Oh.
did a little more research and see.
Last night, thank God, I, did all the research, and it's like, this is all on YouTube, and we're going to be on
yeah,
YouTube. So we
everyone
gotta
gets to
dress
see
up,
you.
kinda,
Everyone gets to see your
whatever.
pretty faces.
No, boy.
That's kind of nice, though, don't you think? I mean, like, especially considering you haven't done any live performances yet. I mean, it's kind of nice to be able to introduce yourself to people, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
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 yeah.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah,
Same
we get
same
more
same
nervous than we really
senses.
should before these things. I mean, you're not intimidating. You're a nice guy. So,
Yeah, no, and same here. I mean, like, I get nervous about who I have to speak with, and I'm just like, oh, it actually turns out that they're nice people, and we're all kind of here to do the same thing, really.
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah,
And we're all music fans, which is the easiest part about it. Is just all we have to do is talk about music, really.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, Zoom has changed a lot. We're just not really used to it, but it's pretty cool that, we
We're
can be
getting
across
used
the
to it.
country and
Yeah.
talking to each other and
Yeah,
just
I know, and I don't know anything about Oklahoma. Are you guys like natives?
Born in Texas. We're
both born in
Texans.
Texas, but moved here
Yeah.
when I was 2 and when you were 8.
8, yeah. 7,
So
8, yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
music scene like in Oklahoma?
It's changed. It's it's gosh, there's so many. It's morphed a lot in the last 20 years. I mean, you have the Flaming Lips, of course, being that's sort of the alternative. You know,
That's the band everybody knows. That's from
yeah.
Oklahoma.
But then you have like John Moreland,
Oh, is
who's
he from Oklahoma? I just saw him
yeah.
the other day.
So you have a lot of that. What's the genre like West does?
Americana?
Americana, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of Americana
Like-
country emphasis around here. which
Yeah,
is-
like Wes, who mixes our records. That's where he gets all his business, big business from, is the Americana scene. Even though
Sure.
he's kind of more of a fan of stuff like ours,
Mhm.
I mean, I think he is.
Oh, I think
I
he,
mean,
he appreciates all of it.
yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
I mean, with the pandemic, I mean, we've been very, under the radar and kind of really hadn't been excessively social anyway these last few years.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, there's a few venues around here and a good music scene. So we're just cautiously waiting, and
Right.
see how it goes. Because right now, I mean, I don't know. We're still very not into the whole being in public.
Sure. No, I
Yeah.
understand that. I mean, but in general, like the scene there is like unique. I mean, there's like I guess Americana is the biggest thing you're saying.
Oh yeah, no, there's every genre. I
and
mean,
there's a lot more
different-
touring bands coming now than there have been in a while, because there's a lot of clubs been opened up in Oklahoma City. It's
Mhm.
been crazy. There was the Tower Theater, is that what it's called, right? That some guys came into town and opened that up, and that's been a really big thing. And they've really actually been fans of ours a little bit. And
They just opened another venue where Os Mutantes is going to play.
yeah, Os
Oh, cool.
Mutantes?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah. I don't think they're really the same Os Mutantes they were when they were in the 60s, but
Yeah, went through a lot of changes, I'm sure.
yeah,
But yeah, getting to see them at all would be pretty interesting.
yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. We're big fans.
Cool. All right, well, we should kind of move on. Let's move
Yeah.
on to the next song, Melody of Certain 3.
Oh yeah,
This is a Amadeus song.
no, Simone.
Oh yeah. No,
I see. I noticed
I'm-
that they kind of all have credits for I think every song almost. Do
yeah,
they?
but I think the Amadeus, the guitar player, is kind of like
Singing on that one?
yeah.
That's not what I thought.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he certainly is a singer. I mean, I don't know if Simone actually sings anything.
Yeah, I don't think
Oh,
so
really?
either. Not live, at least.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, Amadeus, the one that I'm assuming. Yeah, it's Amadeo and Kazoo are the couple, and
Mhm.
so yeah.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
the All Is Well being repeated in that song always gets me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
mean,
Sonic Youthy, Lee Ronaldo-y sounding, maybe.
I've heard that interpretation. Like some people have made the connection that Blonde Redhead is Sonic Youth like, and I don't.
don't get
Maybe
it.
I'm
I
not.
don't hear it. Mm-mm.
I don't
Yeah.
hear it either, but I'm not a huge Sonic Youth fan. I mean, I've definitely listened to some of their records, but I don't necessarily think I hear that.
Well,
Mhm.
the thing with Sonic Youth, I was a huge Sonic Youth fan for a while. And Lee Ronaldo's songs are a lot different than Thurston's and Kim's songs, I think.
Sure. Well, that'll
and-
happen whenever you have like, multiple
Yeah.
songwriters in a band, I
Yeah.
mean,
And they're all kind of, with Sonic Youth, you have these weird tunings, and they're all kind of like, they tune their strings to like the same notes and then octave lower notes. And so but Lee was more, he did the same thing with but he was more sophisticated than than the rest of the band in the sense of like his songwriting, you know,
Like
which is
arrangement wise, you mean?
yeah, arrangement more like songs, you know, and I
Right.
think that you know there's a little bit of Lee Ronaldo in Amadeo, is that?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Amadeo, correct.
Yeah. And you know, Steve Shelley, the drummer from Sonic Youth, produced or recorded their first or
Oh,
something. He had something
his
to do with
label.
what?
His label put out the first record
Yeah,
or
yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah. So there's a
Yeah.
connection there. You know, New York. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Especially because it was, very noise rock like,
Yeah.
and obviously Sonic Youth that's kind of their jam.
Yeah. We saw like Youth 2011, 10. Yeah. That's in
New York,
and Brooklyn Park,
somewhere in Brooklyn. Yeah, Prospect Park.
Prospect Park. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Free show. It's awesome. Tons of people.
I bet. Yeah. Especially a free show in New York.
Yeah.
Let's see. Melody of Certain Three. I wrote something down here about Amadeo's voice, how I just think it's so cute.
Yeah. Unique.
Yeah, unique for sure. And then like I guess I just never noticed that. Like when I first heard that song A Cure on that mixtape of mine, I noticed immediately that the vocals were very strange. They were unique sounding, but I
Yeah.
didn't know why. And I guess now I'm kind of putting it together. It's just like, oh well, he's an Italian person and he has
Yeah.
an accent. So it actually
Yeah.
the accent kind of like shines through a little bit.
Yeah. It's kind of little nasally, but in a good way. You know, not that nasal is a bad way. I feel like that my voice is a little nasally.
Yeah. But it's just a little Italian, that's all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like let's see. So by the title, I assume it may have something to do with the band's relationship with each other at this time in their career, because it's a melody of certain three, obviously it being a three-piece.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like Amadeo is addressing the fact that his band is unique and has been making great, interesting music up to this point, and now he fears the repercussions of the possible breakup that he and Kazu are going through. Now you already touched on this actually. I was wondering, has there ever been a third member, or maybe even someone you have considered to help you in the band?
No.
No
third wheel here.
Yeah, there'll never be a third official full member. As far as writing and recording, we don't. Yeah, doubleVee is the two of us, but live, I mean, we did consider just pulling it off with the two of us and backing tracks and things like that, and I think it would be cool, but we just thought it's better to go ahead and have live drums, and then our bassist that can switch out on a couple of things. And
yeah.
But
yeah, no, we're very I've been writing, for a long time and producing stuff. So we've got like just tons of material, and I'd say 80% of the time we take from that material and then we start, building the song, arranging it, and then finally lyrics,
Right.
and then 20% of the time we just write from the ground up, just start saying, hey, what do you think? And what's, and it's usually kind of, I think it's more or less, Barb's ideas,
on the newer stuff.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's always just the two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's nice because, before we had an album and an EP, and that was the material we had as a band. Of course, I've got a lot of songs from my past catalog, which are my songs, but we will probably play, at some point,
Pull
a few of those. But now we have two full-length albums and an EP, so it really we have a lot to choose, to pick from and to kind of, to assess. So it kind of makes sense that we're starting to play live now, rather than, right off the gate.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine it's just so exciting to be able to, to be thinking about doing that now, because you just haven't yet. I mean, most
it's
bands
exciting
don't
to get on stage, because there's a stage there at practice and stuff, and we're like,
right. Most bands try out songs like, in front of audiences, really, and then like to think that you have all of these records, all of these songs already done in the can, produced and on.
Yeah. It's just
been out for years, and now they finally hear it live.
Yeah, and I can finally.
But also, there's a thing called, I didn't write and play this. I didn't sing and play this guitar part. I wrote it differently at a different time, and same for her.
Yeah,
I
as
didn't
far as
write
singing and playing.
playing, and so we're really
Like recording is different than playing live.
yeah. A lot of bands do, they're doing their songs in a studio while they know their songs already. Us, we're more of an experiment. We experiment in the studio and we put these songs together, but we don't necessarily even.
Well, it's just seeing what actually
Yeah.
works live. The
Right.
one thing you can pull it off in a recording. Can you do it
Right.
live? Well, let's,
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to the next song, Hated Because of Great Qualities.
Yeah, this song is awesome. She's like, love the lyrics. I mean, I don't even have the lyrics memorized, and I don't know if I'm reading a couple lyrics that I wrote down, but she's saying cigarette. She pronounces it cigarette. Cigarette. It
Yeah.
almost sounds like cigarette. When I first heard it, I was like, she's saying cigarette.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool. I was like, okay, no, she's not saying cigarette. She's saying secret. I think it's the line of the song, right? Cigarette, cigarette. So sorry that I forget, or something like that. And then
Something
she's
like
talking
that.
about how she can't pronounce things and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
during the song. It's just so interesting because she can't pronounce things, and that's part of it. She's saying cigarette.
There's a little bit of real alliteration, I guess you would call it in
My
this,
English isn't very good, and I'm explaining you in this song.
Right. So one of the lyrics that stuck out to me was, I was worried I might be rude to you, so worried that I was. And that sounds to me like the most direct connection to the title, Hated Because of Great Qualities, because I think, the majority of the lyrics for the song is really kind of like this weird scathing relationship thing, someone that just tried so hard and then it just still kind of failed, and so you kind of just feel like a failure, you didn't do anything wrong, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of imagining it in my mind right now. So be it. That's right. That's the end of the chorus. Is so be it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
she's
it's
saying,
a lie to serve the truth, and I'm still guilty.
Yeah.
I missed, so be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, pretty scathing, I feel.
Yeah, mysterious,
Very
and really
sparse.
minimalistic. I mean, it's just drums, and then just chord, straight up chords. Very, yeah.
Yeah. So now here's one circumstance where I sometimes will just kind of analyze the title alone, Hated Because of Great Qualities. Have either of you felt like you were hated for being awesome?
No.
All the time. No.
I'm sure I've been hated for lots of reasons, but I wouldn't call that one of them.
Right. Well, but seriously, I mean, has there ever been a time where you felt someone was maybe envious of you?
Sure.
I don't know. That's kind of a tough question.
But I mean, not often or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, because when you're in a band, right? I think that when you're in an artistic endeavor of any sort, because even looking at this as being being a podcast, being any kind of public platform person, right? You are you can be scrutinized by people, and some people take that, some people can be envious to a degree, be just jealous that you have this thing, you guys create great music, you have two full-length albums and an EP under your belt already. Do you think there's is there ever anything like that, or I guess you probably don't even consider it?
I don't think that we consider it to a degree. I mean, I think people, it's just in human nature,
Right. Sure. And you kind of learn to turn it off and not really pay
Right.
attention.
It's all kind of turned off at our ages. I mean, we are what we are, and if people like it, great. If they don't, great. I mean, it's kind of a different world now. Anyway, the post-Trump world is different permanently in terms of the way we relate to each other, and
it's true.
the things we've been put through. The pandemic being as bad as it was, solely because people making idiot issues out of it, you know, like, oh, wearing a mask, oh, getting vaccine, no way, you know. So
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
different world now.
Right. But we are so intertwined and interactive with each other because of social media and stuff like that. Like so I mean maybe that is the answer to this question. Like, have you seen anything through like social media? Like, do you get any? Have you ever get any like stupid bonehead comments on
Yeah,
anything?
yeah. But nothing big, but yeah, like a meh, you know, that kind of thing. Like, you know, someone like, you know.
Yeah, just immature,
Yeah.
stupid things.
Right.
Yeah, we just
Not a lot though.
just
I
let it
mean,
roll off of us.
yeah,
I
not a
mean,
lot though. I mean,
That's good.
we've been kind of lucky not to have a lot of that that I can recall. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
being honest. You know?
right. No,
Yeah.
we haven't had a lot, but
That's
I mean, I'm
good.
sure it'll
I mean,
increase in the future if we get out there a little bit more, but we
Yeah, we're ready for it.
right. I mean, and unfortunately, I mean, like the more you get out there, you know, in public, regardless of what it is, whether you're putting out videos on YouTube, whether you're out performing live, whether you're putting a new record out, it's always up for scrutiny, and it's like bound to happen
Yeah.
eventually. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely. Yeah.
it's a
I mean,
sure like ratio of numbers just being
yeah.
like, well, the more output you put, the more, you know, output you put out there, the more someone's gonna rag on it.
What's a really weird thing that I've been through is um which I mean, I totally don't think about it, but Pitchfork, you know,
Hmm.
it's like back. I mean, we haven't had anything reviewed on Pitchfork because we're not on label, and it's kind of how it works, I think. Um, but like Mint stuff, it's kind of like you would have a score, you know, Pitchfork. You have a score to your album. You know, you're a 7 or you're a 6.8 or whatever. But
Right.
then you have the article, and I've gone through the whole like, well, the article makes it sound like you hate us, but the number sounds like you like us, you know. And I've had
Mm.
the opposite of that too, you know, where the number, you know, it's like praising it, but then the numbers lower than, you know. So there's a lot of that kind of
Mm.
mind trip, sort of like, you know, just don't worry about, you know, what this publication is saying or this
Right.
yeah,
person is
our
saying.
music is not for everybody.
Yeah,
we know
absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And nobody's is
Yeah,
for
nobody's,
everybody.
that. Mhm.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next song. Love Despite of Great Faults.
Who's talking about?
I heard you say that it's Amadeo. It's one of
Yeah,
his songs. That's a good point because I realized that that it's almost like every other song
yeah,
is Amadeo and Kazu.
yeah. And then
Like
they
they're just
come
like trading
together.
off.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Probably
every
Amadeo.
other song is like switching off from between Kazu and
Yeah. Which
Amadeo.
is fitting, you know,
I think so. I
considering
mean, it's kind of like trading off, like almost like
yeah,
they're going at each other on this
yeah.
thing.
Hmm.
This song, I've always said, oh yeah, it's got the Beatles thing, you know.
How so? What do you mean by the Beatles thing?
And I figured it out. I've always said, oh, it's something off of, you know, Abbey Road. At
Sure.
first I was like, because maybe, but then I was like really listening to it the other night, and it's She's So Heavy. I Want You.
Oh,
Dun, dun,
okay.
dun, 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 that same, almost exact same chords during the You Will Swim. Dun, 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 dun. Very,
Okay.
very similar. There's a lot of that going on in this whole record, though, if you think about it.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a very kind of there's a little bit of Beatles influence, and then there's the Chopin at the end. We'll talk about Chopin when we get to there. So
Okay. All right. That's all new to me. I'm not familiar with it. Um,
so we're on. Wait, which track are we on?
Love Despite of Great Faults.
On 5.
So maybe
So
I was wrong. I'm wrong. Oh no. It is the She's So Heavy. Sorry.
Let's
Yeah.
listen to a little bit.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah.
all right. So this song, while listening to the song, I came to this realization. Is this album like akin to Fleetwood Mac's Rumors?
It's a
Like
very bizarre. Yeah, it's very bizarre compared to that.
well,
But
lyrically speaking, I mean, is this kind of like, you know, if you take Rumors apart, I mean, that was because of all the like kind of like incestuous
yeah,
behavior between the
you can
band.
go your own way.
Yeah, I mean, all of those songs, it's just like one of them, you know, kind of dig like dealing the dirt on whatever relationship they were having within the band. I mean, like all those members basically slept with everybody, like each other, like at multiple different times. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, but we don't know. I mean, Blonde Redhead, we have still, I mean,
It's still kind of a mystery.
still a mystery,
But it's kind of similar to that story. Like, I mean, at least maybe there's no, evidence to kind of, prove what these lyrics are about, but it definitely sounds this way in this album. I mean, obviously it's just Kazuo and Amadeo, but that's kind of like what I'm pulling out of it, I think.
Yeah.
Are you guys big Rumors fans by any chance?
Not huge. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Oh, okay.
I've listened to it many times because it's kind of a classic rock stand,
Oh yeah.
Almost the whole album. It's been, growing
Right.
up with classic rock and stuff. So, but you guys listen to a lot of Fleetwood Mac.
I'm sure we probably have that record down in our collection.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Are you familiar with the story of that album, like, and the kind of like the connotation of the songs in it?
Fill us in.
Yeah, fill us in.
Well, I mean, I haven't done the research on that album, but I mean, I know the album and I kind of known the stories just from like seeing documentaries and such. Yeah, and so then it just became, fucking melting pot of band members. Honestly, like, I don't know exactly which way it went, but it was just tumultuous. It was like the weirdest band experience ever, I imagine.
And they were huge.
They
were huge success during that time. So they were making
massive
this record with $1 billion budget, whatever, not $1 billion budget, with a huge budget, probably.
Huge budgets. I mean, selling out fucking stadiums at that point, drugs, drinking. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I just assume it was crazy. This doesn't seem as crazy. I'll admit that.
It seems like the very tame version.
But it's a weird relationship record,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's essentially what I was getting at. It's just that. So now again, the title "Love Despite of Great Faults." Now you are both obviously loved, particularly by each other. But what would you consider some of your greatest faults, and not of each other, but of yourselves?
This is therapy.
I know, right?
I've got so many faults. That's crazy. The list just.
You go first.
God, this is so hard.
This is a put on the spot question here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just
I
very
snore.
lightly. So yeah. See, there you go.
Snore.
And I don't eat mayonnaise.
I don't either.
That's so weird. Oh, well, see, you at least can agree on that, and that's nice.
Yeah.
That's what
we
makes it
agree
work.
on a lot of food things, actually. We're very, food, like, we both, no avocados. We don't like avocados. They're freaky.
What?
Yeah, I know. Everyone loves avocados.
All right, we're just gonna end this now, okay?
Yeah.
It's a pleasure speaking. Well, but you actually obviously share a lot together as well. Obviously, you are big fans of movies.
Oh yeah.
Movies and music.
Movies and music. Movies and television series.
Is there anything that you can think of, Barb? Let me ask you first. Is there anything that you can think of that you don't like that Allan likes, movie or music wise?
Yeah, go for it.
Not really.
Danielson family. You probably don't like Danielson family.
Oh, they grew on me, the Danielson family. So
you probably know a little bit about Danielson family. Maybe not.
It sounds familiar.
Area. They're from New Jersey or New York or something. They're a Christian band, a weirdest Christian band. And
it was the vocal that took a little time to settle in for me.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, musically, I mean, I'm into anything Allan is, but then it doesn't really extend the other way.
She's kind of like a rockabilly punk thing, which I appreciate.
Really?
But I'm not like as
right. Well, he just doesn't. Yeah.
I just need to listen more.
He likes more than 3 chords, apparently.
Yeah.
No, I just. Yeah, we have very varied tastes.
Yeah, we do definitely have varied tastes, but we come
together
a lot with a lot of stuff. I mean, and I think that's the whole Morricone thing. Was sort of a big
catalyst.
Yeah. film music,
Sure.
Yeah, I've
Well-
sure never met anyone who knew anything about film music or who would sit down and play, a Morricone piece. It was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of like, and I think a lot of musicians feel this way. I mean, I want to be a film composer, and that's kind of like a dream job of mine. Not that I pursue it, but I
Dabbled in it a little bit.
dabbled in it. I've dabbled in it and definitely have invested in it, and with things. So you probably
That's
hear that
interesting.
in a lot of songs with strings and horns.
Oh yeah, for sure. You have very orchestral songs.
Yeah.
Some of them,
Just- Yeah, it's in my DNA, just my nature. Just and I'm a cello player too, so I still kind of dabble with that.
Cool. I'll just admit this to you that I am married and my wife is a Fleetwood Mac fan.
Okay.
And that's the only reason why I know Fleetwood Mac, because before her, I would never listen to Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, really?
I despise that band.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, like I just never really dug it. And then, obviously we got together and started to date and then obviously get married. And that's the only band she really cares about. Like she's not a music fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I turn her on to like anything that she likes aside from Fleetwood Mac has been because of me.
really? That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I run a record store, so it's just like I constantly am playing stuff in the house, and so she hears what I listen to, and very seldom will she ever come around and be like, "That sounds cool. What is that?"
Really? That's so strange to me. I mean, I understand some people are like that. We have a friend actually who posted about how she does not feel emotionally connected to any music.
Who? Oh, I'm sorry, you don't.
A friend.
Yeah.
A really great, wonderful, creative, wonderful person, but who just said that she doesn't have any reaction or connection or anything to any music. It could just be it's background noise.
Sure.
And I'm just like, wow,
That is
I
bizarre.
can't relate to that because I get emotionally invested.
Yeah, I know. And
pretty much anything I'm listening to, interpret it in my own way. And
Yeah.
I mean, I just
Barb's also a big Tori Amos fan,
okay.
and I am too, but she's a huge fan.
Sure.
And
That's cool.
I've been growing kind of like into being a big fan, but I've got a ways to go.
ways to go.
We just saw
through
last-
exposure, right? Because so Barb will play anything
go to concerts,
by Tori
yeah.
Amos in the house, and you're around to hear it, and it kind of like seeps in, right?
Yeah, I've seen 4 times.
I've seen her 4
I've
times.
seen her 4 times.
Wow.
Last
See?
time 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was our first show to see in a long time.
First pandemic
Went to-
show. Yeah.
I
to
haven't
LA.
seen Fleetwood Mac once.
and they are without Lindsay, they do.
They're
tour,
still
right?
gigging. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's does
Actually,
his own,
I did buy my wife tickets to Lindsey Buckingham solo.
and what'd she think?
Oh, really?
What'd you think?
I think he's great. I mean,
He's a
I think
great
he's an
guitar
amazing
player.
guitarist. He seems full of himself, but he's an
He's
amazing
so
musician.
full of himself. He's so full of himself.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not. The last time I saw him, let's just say I saw a live performance, like YouTube type thing, maybe 10 years ago ish.
Sure.
He just seemed really like that was the one thing that bothered me. I think he's a genius.
That's actually probably when I saw him. It was probably
Yeah.
that tour. Because our kids were very young at that time. And we had a date night and went out to the local theater and where he played. And I actually got us the best tickets possible. Like minus the backstage pass, like meet and greet thing. I got us the best tickets. And like we
was
were
it like a 6-piece band, 5-piece band?
no, it's just him by himself.
Okay, this was a whole band. I think it was Austin City Limits where I saw what I saw. So it would have been a full band,
Weird.
Big
All right.
deal.
Yeah,
So
well, it was just him alone, and like we literally like got up to the front of the stage, and just like there was a moment where everyone kind of just like got up out of their seats and like came up to the stage, and people were just like had their hands out, and like he would just like give high fives and stuff like that, but he just narrowly missed the two of us.
Oh,
Yeah,
so close.
heartbreaking, but it was the closest she's ever gotten to him, so I was thankful for that.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and she enjoyed it. So, and I enjoyed it too. Actually, I really did.
Yeah, she got to meet Tori Amos once.
In
Yeah.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Where we found out that
Oh God.
Starlight Mints, they were in Toronto at the same time I was a few years ago, before Allan and I ever met. They were playing a show in Toronto
Yeah.
the day before.
There's more
or
a story
after.
to this too, and I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna
we
go
probably
into-
like walk right past each other. Or something.
Yeah, there's more to the story what I can't go into about this, but it has a little bit to do with the breakup of the band, Starlight Man.
What?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's all I can say.
Sure.
I had nothing to do with that. However, this.
No, but
sounded a
it
little-
has nothing to. You have nothing to do with that at all because we haven't
Dude.
met.
It was Tori Amos. She did it.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah, we were playing in Toronto. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, we never. I mean, we have lots of mutual friends, and just I never heard the Starlight Mints until
But we were at Niagara Falls the same day.
right.
Right. Which
Oh,
is
weird.
so strange. Yeah. Before meeting ever. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
What you can do with that?
What you gonna do with that? Yeah.
So where were we? Track 6.
Yes, we're going to move on to track 6. Well, actually, that's instrumental, so we're just going to skip it. The
Instrumental,
Ballad of
yeah.
Lemons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it goes with the intro. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So we'll
this
just
is
go ahead.
Not.
My favorite song.
So this is not. I mean, yeah, it's a great poppy, fun sounding song.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. To me, it should be like the most hits, like of all their songs. I think it's like, well, the in particular is such a good song too. But this is like the song that just reeled me in. I heard it and I just like.
It
was
certainly
just
has a
amazing.
hook.
I remember, you
Yeah.
know, where I was, what I was doing, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. And what was that?
Chores around the house. Yeah.
Okay. But it's funny that it still seeped in. It kind of like still triggered something in you, and it kind of like made it memorable.
Yeah.
So it's the most fun poppy sounding song, but yet it's the most exposing and direct song lyrically.
Yeah.
Kind of a confession of sorts, even. So let's see, even describing being introduced to the twins, the detailed story from what I read was Kazu came to this country with John Lurie, which you have already mentioned.
Yeah.
And he introduced Kazu to the twins. And then now you were also telling me this kind of all played in. This is how you guys, how did you two meet?
How did we meet?
Yes.
Yeah, we had the Haiti benefit at a local venue, and then
Yeah, but we didn't really. That was just sort of like quick meet. That wasn't even like a.
Yeah, that was a quick introduction.
Yeah.
It was the
and-
first time.
Yeah, and then.
But you thought I was too young, and I felt awkward because I knew who he was, but hadn't ever heard the Starlight Mints music, so I felt a little guilty. So just kind of.
You
And
know
I
he
didn't
was
even catch up any of that. I just was like.
Oh, I
this-
didn't say anything.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't. I
yeah.
just went up and hugged Derek, his friend that he was with, and like, oh, hi, this is Allan, my friend who just moved here from Texas. Like, oh, hey, it's one of those kind of.
And then we met at a show.
Then a few weeks later at
What show
another
was that?
venue. That was a local show, Pretty Black Chains and the Boom Bang.
Yeah, and then we hung out because we have a mutual friend.
Right, the friend that he was living with at the time, who had like an extra space for him to move to.
Yeah,
We
I was
were both
producing her
friends.
band at the time. Yeah.
And that's when the other mutual friend made the Filmscapes connection, and we spoke that night. And then he found me the next day via my radio station where I worked at the time. He found like my bio and email address and messaged me, and I wrote him back and dropped a hint about a color music show the next week, that I was going to. And so he showed up at that.
Yeah, and we were both
That was
fans
it.
of Color Music, the band also. Still a band, still a good band, relevant. And I would have gone probably anyway to that show.
Probably, yeah. He
Yeah.
just moved to Oklahoma City from Texas, so was
Yeah.
trying to kind of a few
Oh, I
weeks.
see.
It had been a few weeks.
Yeah. And yeah, and then the rest is history from there. I mean, that was the night we
He came home and we hung out.
as the
Been a
kids
lot
say
of that.
today, we hung out.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's interesting. I mean, and then like my follow-up question was was there anyone that introduced you? And obviously there was, right? I've already mentioned this.
Yeah. Derek Brown.
Yeah.
Who you said he was playing with the Flaming Lips now?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like he plays with the Flame Lips. He's also kind of like
He's a multi-instrumentalist. He's a very talented guy.
and great guy. Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
Huh. Do you
looking
think-
back, I mean, I wish we would have talked longer that night, and that I wouldn't have felt so awkward and, run away. But
And I hadn't seen Derek in a long time either.
it worked out the way
he was
needed to.
he had toured with us for about a year in the Mints, playing piano and guitar.
Yeah. Do you think
So
Derek had any ideas in his mind introducing you to, or was it just like,
I think
hey, I
random.
know her and
Random.
It was very random. Yeah,
yeah,
no, I don't think I would have to ask him, but
he
no, I
wasn't
think
he
it was
wasn't playing matchmaker.
No, 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 no,
no,
no,
it was
no,
a
no.
very random night. I mean, I would always, take photos at shows, and
It was
no.
a pretty. It was a
So I
pretty
was running around with
crazy
my
night.
camera. I wish I would have taken a picture.
It's like I hadn't been out in a while, and I hadn't. There's a lot of friends that night I hadn't seen in a long time, like Trent Bell, who we did recorded most of the Starlight Mints records, and Stephen Droz of the Flaming Lips was there.
Oh, cool.
And so, and I hadn't seen him in years, and so it was like I had lived in Texas. I don't know if we talked about that.
Yeah.
I'd lived in Texas for a couple of years before that, so I was kind of coming back home, kind of thing. So anyway,
Okay. Interesting. Well, we should just move on to the next song, which is A Cure. So as I have explained to you already, the first
that was a
This is-
song you put on the mixtape, or
this
had
is the
on
first song I ever heard by Blonde Redhead. Yeah, and it was put on a mixtape for me by a girl I was dating at the time. I don't remember what year, 2003, I think. Pretty stellar mix, which turned me on to a few things I didn't already know about. What has been your experiences with the lost art of mixtaping?
Well, I mean, you've got playlists now, you know, but
Yeah, but that's not the same.
it's not the same at all, because I don't share. I mean, I think it might be for some people, but not. I mean, I have like 4 playlists on Spotify, and they're only because, oh, I found this song. I remembered this song.
You want to put it
I'm-
somewhere where you can remember it.
It's like huge 100 long playlist. So
Yeah, I miss the cassettes because I would make them all the time, design, little
yeah,
covers. And
yeah,
Yeah.
CDs.
Just fill them up.
I would make CDs. I would make her CDs.
You made
A couple, and then when we got married, we had
the reception mix.
we made CDs for our road trip for our
Oh yeah.
yeah.
CDs to listen to on the way there and back, and
Yeah,
stuff like
mixtape.
that.
Oh,
mix
okay.
CD.
And anytime we do something like that, we'll usually make a themed
Yeah,
mix. to
Right.
listen to.
but it's been a while since I personally made anything like that.
I mean,
But-
same here. I mean, I actually did make my wife a mixed CD before we were married, when we were still kind
Yeah.
of fresh, young relationship. Which I guess that was pretty good for her too. I guess, yeah, she's learned some stuff off that mix and stuff that really has kind of grown with her and kind of become part of her, I think. Can you think of something like that? Like a song that you heard in a mixtape that you got from one another that really stuck out to you? Something that you learned that you didn't know before?
Walk
Probably.
a Mile in My Shoes song.
Oh yeah,
I hadn't
Holly
heard
Go
that
Lightly.
before.
Holly Go Lightly.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
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 You heard that song, Walk a Mile in My Shoes?
I don't know if I'm familiar with that
Oh,
song.
it's great.
Yeah, it's a great song.
It's brilliant. Yeah. I mean, Edward stuff from you. Edward K. stuff.
Bell,
From Legendary Pink Dots. Yeah. Like he's got a lot. He is so prolific. He's got
Solo acts and other
solo
act-
stuff. He does a
other
thing with, what's
band.
the other band he works with? The other
Tear
guy?
Garden.
Tear Garden with the guy from,
Yes.
what's the band? Not Bauhaus.
Maybe not.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, we've definitely have completely lots of different music that we have turned each other on to, for sure.
Okay,
Um,
great.
And a lot of film score stuff that she's turned me on to.
Oh,
I
you're
was really a huge Coney fan going into the relationship. So,
sure. But so
um,
Barb, you're more of the specialist of the film scoring?
Oh, I did the show for a long time, so
yeah,
it's been a while. But yeah, it's something I've always
she
been
can
into.
she'll recognize scores no matter, because a lot of stuff is being recycled these days. Like you'll have a film score from something on a TV show,
Sure.
and she'll pick up on it, 9 times out of 10, like it's Herman or whatever, she can, which I can't do at all. I'm like,
Right.
is it Batman? I don't know. You know,
Yeah,
like-
my final Filmscapes program was a 2-hour program. It was on Bernard Herrmann's
Oh,
music,
yeah.
and we produced it here at home.
Yeah.
I usually produce them at the station, but that one we just did here, and it was kind of the last hurrah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
For
Oh,
that
okay.
show.
That was fun for me because I got to do all the editing.
Yeah, because he'd never really done that, voiceover, worked with editing voiceovers, and so
Right.
it's fun to get to do.
Oh, okay. That's great. All right. Well, let's move on to the next song. We actually only have like a couple more to go over, really. The next
This
song
will
is For the Damaged.
Where it
Yeah.
gets interesting.
All the delicate keys and the sparse acoustic guitar. I mean,
I think about
love it.
piano. I have to hear it again to get the guitar even.
yeah, it's very sparse.
Yeah.
It's,
Hmm.
then
This is Chopin, this and the final one are kind of based on Chopin. I don't know if you've heard Chopin
Nocturne and F.
Nocturne
minor.
in F minor opus.
Oh, I remember reading something about that, but I did not.
Right. If you listen to the piece, you'll be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's instant.
Immediate.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
they
okay.
definitely twist it and make it their own, but they even cited on the Wikipedia page that it's influenced by,
Oh, okay. I guess that's probably where I saw it. So For the Damaged, I mean, God, I mean, this is such a tormented piece, really.
Yeah, it's it's gut
Yeah, I wrote down
wrenching.
one of the lyrics that say you were me, then you could see the view. You'll know we are equally damaged.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Equally damaged. That's like.
That's the continuing theme, right?
Continuing theme.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like Kazu is laying the final nail in the coffin that was their relationship.
Yeah.
Now, so I'm going to preface this a little bit. Now, I feel that realistically, most people are quote unquote damaged in some way, mentally or emotionally. I mean, like, I don't know how you guys feel about therapy and stuff like that. I know I need it. I feel like personally, there's plenty of damage going on with me, trauma-wise, in my past. So I'm not trying to turn this into a therapy session as like before. But would you? So I mean, do you consider yourselves damaged? I mean, are you like aware of yourselves in that sense?
Yes. Absolutely.
You can agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both
Absolutely.
had different kinds of trauma in our background that definitely informs every day.
Right.
Our
I mean,
lives,
and so do you turn that around? I mean, do you just do you use that in like your kind of like every day when you're like kind of working together on music and so forth, or?
it can come up. I mean, probably more so with me, that I have past issues that can bubble up that I have to deal with and tamp down a little bit. But yeah, I think
absolutely.
most of our music, I mean, we keep it, it's not personal to us, just got to, a little too dangerous to go that direction. And so
it doesn't seem that way from what I've heard. I mean, like, it doesn't seem like there's anything that's too personal or kind of explicit in a personal sense.
I think
with your music, it seems like you guys do a lot of kind of like creative story play in your songs.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, we go into songs not knowing anything what the song's about, and then we definitely come out of it knowing what the song's about. It's like storytelling.
Well, it varies.
Yeah, it does vary.
Song to song and where we are in our life at the time that we're writing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that has sneaked its way in, like that's kind of like camouflaged in a song?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's tons of stuff.
Yeah.
A
couple of things that come immediately to mind on that one.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to talk about too much of that stuff.
Yeah, some of that's really personal.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I'm like, the Questions Closed, the final song on this new album, it's kind of my baby. And I'd started writing some really personal lyrics to it and kind of thought this was going to be my telling my story and reclaiming my life type song. But then as I went on, I was just like, I can't get these words out. I can't write a song. I can't get words out.
But you did get it out.
I rewrote it into a less personal. I mean, I veered from that because I respect any artist that can, tell their truth in a song and get through it, but it's not really in my wheelhouse.
Sure. Maybe not yet. I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe keep on working on it and then one day that'll come.
Right. Yeah. Maybe.
I
Do
think
you
it's
hope for that? I mean, do you think that you would like that to be at some point, or?
Maybe, I don't know. It's
yeah,
I'm still kind of finding myself in terms of some areas. So
Sure.
we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I like our play more, the idea, oh, Jack the Writer, who's that? We can just make up people and make up things, and it doesn't have to be intensely personal,
Right.
So
Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, your music is great. I mean, it's so reminiscent of so many things, like I can see that you guys kind of have a lot of influences. Like some of the things that stuck out to me as I was listening to all of those pieces was Bowie, Beatles, Pixies. There's probably a few more there that I kind of just didn't like nail down.
mhm.
Yep, those are all legit.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. All right,
That'd be
so I
good.
was right. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, Pixies are. We saw Pixies together. My first time, second time, or first time?
Yeah, second time.
Okay. And that was right before Kim left. Like 2013.
Oh, okay.
I'd never seen him, but I played with Frank before, or what do you want to call him? Black Francis.
Right.
Frank
So
Black.
like solo or with the Catholics?
Opened up. Starlight opened up for him in Portland at a big theater, and he was really intimidating. He's a pretty quiet guy, and he was at his like biggest weight at that point, and it was just really. But I did get to hang out with David Lovering, the drummer, who was the middle band, which wasn't a band. He was doing these.
The magic show?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I got to hang out with him, and he was such a great guy. I'm such a huge fan of theirs.
Oh yeah. Me too.
I mean, how can you not be? It's like I don't know how anyone cannot like the Pixies.
Mhm.
Hey, takes all kinds, I guess.
Yeah. But
All right. Well, let's move on to the next song, Mother.
Ah, yes.
oh, the punk rock. What
Post punk.
I call punk rock rubbish. But it
No.
goes
You
into.
don't like it?
Oh, I love it. But
Okay.
it's just like
Yeah.
Right. It's aggressive. It just kind of gets a little of the steam out in
Absolutely.
between.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, it's in between those two songs.
Yeah.
It's just kind of perfect.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah. No, I really love it too. I mean, it's a kind of a great return to their punk noise rock roots. And
got some
me
great
me
things.
personally, I'm a noise rock fan. So
Yeah.
this kind of was like pulls at my heartstrings, especially because I listened to those first records and I was just like, oh, this is great stuff. I really like this a lot. And there's a lot less of that on this record. So this is the kind of like the one little gem on there that's kind of like noisy and kind of crazy,
Uh-huh.
which I really like.
Right.
Kind of completely unintelligible. I mean, you can't understand what she's saying.
I don't think she even understands what she's saying.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah, I'm not even sure. Like I found some lyrics to that song, but I can't even match them up. I don't know if it's accurate or not.
It's hard to tell on the internet. You look up stuff,
Right.
I don't think they put any of their lyrics on the album, as I recall. CD.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. I wonder if they would for the for the
I have
record
the
too.
CD somewhere. It's just
It's buried in something.
Yeah, it's buried.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. Who listens to CDs anymore? It's
Yeah.
Me.
So I don't know why it's called Mother. Unless it's short for motherfucker. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, considering all the other content, and if you look at the lyrics,
her upbringing, something her mom wanted her to be not be an artist, like not be a musician.
She grew up in Japan.
Yeah.
And her grandfather was a violinist.
Yeah. Definitely music in the family, and she played classical piano and stuff growing up.
Yeah, I can't figure this song out really. I mean, like lyrically, there's only a few lines. You pay for that. You're wrong if you think it was alone. I'm on to you. You're fading out. You wrong if you think I'm alone. I will never fall.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's what I found. I mean, like I said, I can't match them up. I can't really make out her singing those words, but that's
to me. It's just what I think about the song is like the bass is like going.
Yeah.
Kind of doing that the whole time, which is kind of this chaos, thing, which I love.
Yeah, it's so noisy. I mean, like I said, I'm a noise rock fan. It kind of hits for me.
What is your big like noise rock bands that you like?
As of right now, I mean,
or like in the past or whatever,
well,
something we
so
might know.
I grew up in Providence, or I was kind of like, my formidable years were here in Providence, Rhode Island, and so noise rock was kind of a big thing in Providence. We had bands like Erebon Radar and Lightning Bolt, and then there's all these kind of more obscure Landed, Mind Flare, Force Field. So it's all this just weird artsy noise rock stuff, and I just got blown away by it when I was a teenager into my 20s, because it was just so kind of like crazy and immersive. It was just like it kind of made me feel like what it must have felt like to be in New York City for the punk scene, like in the 80s, in the
Yeah.
late 70s and 80s. It's just like if you saw bands like Suicide or the
Yeah.
Ramones and Blondie for the first time, and this is the first time you're ever hearing anything like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, Blonde Redhead is kind of there. They're kind of there
Yeah.
with that in New York City, like early 90s, 93, I think is when they started.
Yeah.
And obviously they were kind of like, championed by Sonic Youth, where, Steve Shelley puts out their first record. So yeah, I mean, I
Sonic
really
Youth.
like.
Are you a Sonic Youth fan?
Not really, no.
That's kind of like sort of there. I mean,
Kind
noisy.
of
Yeah.
is, but it's not as really powerful, I don't feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's more songwriting, I
Yeah.
mean, like they do a lot of noise stuff, and then like when they do their noise stuff, it's just like it just seems like it's a lot of noise, like just kind of feedback mostly. It doesn't seem like there's so much structure. Like Lightning Bolt and Erebon Radar in particular, I can see structure, I can hear the structure. It's as a matter of fact, it's actually Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt in particular, I really love them because they just seem like they're like a metal band.
So I'm
They're a
writing
metal
down
band.
these bands.
Oh, you don't know these bands? You don't know like Lightning Bolt?
I've seen
I mean,
Lightning Bolt.
She
They
would
played
know
at
more
Glow
than I
City,
do.
and I've seen him before.
okay, yeah, they're amazing, and especially their early shows, like when it was just the two of them, like, and they would never play on a stage. So like, you could get crushed, like because there was nothing around them. There was no, it was
Did they
just
have?
them in a club, the two of them on a floor. Because even if when they would play on like even if they had a stage option, like they opened up, or actually technically they headlined for Sonic Youth. Sonic Youth invited them to play at a theater over here in Providence at the Strand, and they didn't set up on the stage. They set up on the floor. So Sonic Youth played first, and then they were like, "All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Lightning Bolt," and they just immediately went into their fucking set.
Now how many? Now
Cool.
how many?
Yeah,
People in the band?
two, just a bassist and drummer.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
would the drummer just played up front?
I mean, they don't really have an up front.
Wherever.
It's just the two of them next to each other.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just like, and they just get surrounded by people that, well, this used to be, now they play on stages actually, but
Yeah, well, that's cool.
yeah, it was just so intense.
Do you
It's
see
really
Yeah,
cool.
it's been a long
Yeah.
Yeah, you just YouTube them, just watch some of their old
They're
videos.
still doing it?
They're still doing it. Yeah, they actually were
Yeah.
just on tour recently. Yeah,
I want to check it out. Kind of like the White Stripes. Do you ever like the White Stripes?
I liked them. Yeah, I listened to that the first couple of records. Well,
Yeah.
not first mainstream records, I guess. Whatever that one was called. I forget what it's called now.
I was a fan before the four of those they broke. We actually played with them at the what's the place called in L.A. Los Angeles. What's the small club in Los Angeles? Troubadour. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So and they hadn't broken yet. They were still playing.
Oh, that's cool.
Doing Jolene and playing their first two albums are great.
Yeah, I don't think I've listened to them yet. I mean,
they're
like,
great.
yeah, I'll go back to them. I certainly will listen to them. I mean, I kind of appreciate Jack White at this point, and like I will definitely listen to what he does.
Yeah, it's only one of the main mainstream things that I can appreciate. I think is, real mainstream.
Yeah, that's because you knew them before they were mainstream, and then I mean, well, I'm assuming that. I mean, like that's what I would do, and that's kind of the same thing with like Lightning Bolts. It's like I've loved them for so long, and now like they're this like big band, and I don't really, I haven't really listened to the last new record, but I mean, I still know I love them. I would still go see
Yeah.
them.
It's weird how that happens. Like when you have bands like Blonde Redhead, for instance. Like
Mhm.
every time they put an album out, I'll listen to it. I don't necessarily listen to the whole album, but I'll listen
Just,
to, like, I think their last album is one of my favorites, actually. It's
oh
not
yeah,
nearly as good as obviously this one, but we're talking about. But I don't particularly like, yeah, their other albums don't particularly grab me, Her voice
Mhm.
grabs me, but I mean they don't grab me like that album. There's just something about this album. But
Sure.
anyway, my point is a lot of bands in my past that I've liked, I do the same thing with, like, I mean, I've been like back when Dinosaur Jr., you probably like Dinosaur Jr., right?
Yes, dear. we've
What?
talked about that before,
Okay.
you know,
I mean,
but we don't need to.
their first 2 records were great, and the first 3 records are great, and then, well, Lou left, then
Yeah.
did his thing. So, but
Hmm.
like a lot of those bands that grew up with, it's like I think it's sort of a natural thing for people to like sort of levitate away from bands that they
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
You know?
Well, bands also change, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, and I think Blonde Redhead is a good example of that because I actually haven't listened to their newest records, but I listened to the one after this one. I forget what that one was called. And
23,
was it 23?
Misery is a Butterfly.
Misery is a Butterfly, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
probably
and
most acclaimed. Like, I mean, yeah, I think this is probably their most popular because of the Rick and Morty thing.
right,
Uh,
right.
but I think acclaim wise, Misery is a Butterfly is what all the writers will say is their best album. So,
Sure, sure. But
yeah.
see, I didn't like that album. I
I
mean, like
didn't.
it was
I mean,
okay. It had its
yeah, yeah,
moments,
yeah.
but compared to this one, I was just like, yeah, I would obviously choose this one over
I mean,
that one.
it's a very orchestrated album. It almost feels like a soundtrack.
It's
You know?
clean. It's
Yeah,
polished.
yeah,
I mean, like, okay, it's my own opinion. I
yeah,
like grungy stuff. I like noise
yeah,
rock. So this kind of has a little bit more of that, and so I kind of gravitate towards this one. Clean productions and so forth. I'm just like, okay, it's clean. It's safe. That's
yeah.
cool. Like I can see what's to appreciate here. Doesn't necessarily, move me to it.
And what's kind of funny and something I wanted to talk about. Maybe I talked about it a little bit. Is uh, the year 2000 is kind of a year where things changed in music as artists were using Pro Tools. I mean,
Hmm,
that's like a year where artists were. I mean, that's where a lot of people started using Pro Tools.
sure.
It's 2000, 2001,
Right.
and things changed. Sound, people, yeah, that was a big thing. Changed. Like people started doing stuff at their home studios in that sort of era, um, and that you can kind of see it in Blonde Redhead.
Hmm. Yeah, I
I
guess
think.
so.
But at the same time, I think they had a bigger budget too.
Yeah,
Going,
well, the next album after this, they moved to 4AD
yeah, I forgot.
because this one was on Touch and Go, I believe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that kind of helped kind of them production wise,
It's
more of a budget.
4AD. Are they U.S. and Europe?
I think they are. Yeah.
I always forget. I always consider them a Europe band a Europe label.
Yeah, and I think
But
it
they did. But
legitimately
they
they are. I
Pixies
think they
before
are
AD
based. I think they're based out of England, but they do a lot of work here. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
how they do that.
because you got like Pixies, Run 4AD,
Sure.
and you
Yep.
got like Cocktail Twins,
Yep.
uh,
Bunch of great bands. I mean,
bunch of
so
great
much good
bands. Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So, speaking of great bands, what is the plan for you guys at this point in your career? I mean, I know the new album is coming out on the 15th.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You're skeptical to play shows, but you're preparing to play for them. Is
yeah.
there anything in the works?
Not
No,
officially. I
yeah.
mean, yeah, we've just said fall is what we're shooting for, and
Cool.
we'll just wait and see. I mean,
Yeah, we actually have been a thread going on between all the band members.
Sure.
And going, well, we can't practice, it's too hot. What do you
Yeah.
want to do? So we're kind of like, thinking outside the box, trying to at least
well, we
figure out.
may end up like renting a space or something. Because I
Yeah.
mean, the main issue is, our drummer. I mean, you've got to have a space to practice drums, and he's had no opportunity really
He
to.
doesn't have he can't practice at home. Yeah.
So
Yeah. But so what about the possibility of touring?
we would like to. We're open to it. It's really just financial.
Yeah.
We can't. We're at a stage in our life where we really should have more savings and retirement and that kind of thing starting to be built, and it's not. So this is kind of the last blast,
Yeah.
and we'll see kind of how it goes over the next year
Yeah.
or two.
I mean, the thing is, what we'd like to do is jump on a tour, like have a good live show. Someone can see it, be an opening act for somebody,
Sure.
and try to sell some
That's a
merch
great
and
idea.
stuff, And
Right.
I think we have enough contacts to do that,
Right. And so what about the new record? How is it going to be coming out?
Quietly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we debated various, have a listening party, have this or that, but I mean, it's too hot to be outside anywhere, and we don't really want to be
Pandemic still
inside
going
with
on.
lots of people anyway. So we're just
Right.
it's just going to be kind of a quiet release,
So-
interviews and reviews and things. And
Yeah.
then we'll just,
So keep in mind that we mixed this record over a year ago.
Okay.
it was
so-
finished about a year ago.
So it's like we thought pandemic stuff would be,
Clearing up by then?
yeah. I mean, it has to
A little
degree.
bit. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it's getting better.
Yeah. So we're still. I mean, there's still that,
Right.
And we waited. I mean,
Well, there were a lot of other issues
Yeah,
going on. Both of my parents fought cancer battles over this
Oh.
last year. We
Oh, I'm
had,
sorry.
like they're both doing well at
Good.
this
I'm
point.
glad.
There were days in between hearing that my mom's cancer was cleared and my dad being diagnosed with throat cancer. And so we've been just especially cautious, not wanting to make anything harder on them than it already was, in terms of sickness and illness. And
Right. Okay.
so now that they're kind of coming out of that, and the world is looking a little brighter to us, it's
Yeah.
a little easier to start thinking about the future and being a little less. I
Yeah,
mean, we're
we're-
always going to be cautious. I
and
mean,
we're
I
very
don't think-
we're very very close, family.
Yeah,
With her
Okay.
family. So
of course. And then the family comes first. Sure.
yeah.
Make sure that they're
Um,
safe. That's good.
So
So we'll see. It's kind of one day at a time right now. I mean, we're
Yeah.
like we said, we're waiting to hear about this Netflix placement, and if we get that,
don't hex it.
it could really help with visibility, and streams and things. Because unfortunately, it's not really about the music these days. As far as journalists go, they look at your streaming numbers, they look at your social numbers. The music.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's like
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
after the fact, and we
Yeah.
don't have great streaming numbers. We don't have great social numbers. We'd rather be working on music than worrying about a cute video for TikTok, or
Sure.
whatever. It's just not in
Yeah.
our DNA. Even though we know it's.
I mean, a little goes a long way when it comes to placements. Like this placement would be a pretty big deal for us.
Yeah.
So
Sure. Sounds
Um,
great. Well, you guys
so-
are always working anyway too, and I really love that. I really admire that. You're both like kind of true bohemians. You're working at your art all the time, and that's kind of like what you do only. That's specifically what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Like you
love
teach,
public
you give
radio.
lessons too, right? Stuff like that.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we do other little things to keep afloat. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my lessons tomorrow. I get a couple brothers.
two brothers doing bass and guitar lessons.
Yeah, their dad's a drummer, and so
Family band.
I'm not sure what their plans are. The brothers don't seem to. I mean, I don't know, but they're cute and they're taking it
talented.
seriously and very talented, and I'm excited to teach them. It's really
That's great.
really cool.
Yeah. And so now,
Uh,
so the album Treater Strangely, what formats are you going to have it out on?
Digital and CD. We would
Okay.
like to re-release everything on vinyl someday, but since it's all self-released, we just don't have.
The
the
tour
budget.
stuff happens.
Sure.
we might decide to
Yeah.
go merch.
Plus,
for
there's a
vinyl.
terrible delay on that if you weren't aware.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
6-7
one of
months at
those
least at
things-
this point. So
Right.
It's one of those things that we realize we're not going to make any money off of vinyl.
Right.
You don't make money off of vinyl, but so we're trying to maybe someone will
We just don't want to give up any more rights than, that's one of the reasons why we stay self-released. I mean, we thought about looking into a label, but it's just, the percentages that everybody takes. You have distributors and you have, the various people in the background that take little cuts here and there.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Try to
Yeah.
keep it as DIY as we can.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is also no one wants to sign a band who doesn't tour, so we haven't even been looking into labels, unless we decided to tour. So
Right.
I mean, we might decide to label in a year, so we'll see.
I don't know that it's necessary at this
Yeah, people,
point, to get our name out there that far. So we appreciate every opportunity
Yeah,
like this
absolutely.
one, for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for doing it, for taking the time. I really appreciate it. I'd just like to say, it's been a pleasure speaking with you both, and it's been a great honor for me.
Great honor for us. We really
Yeah.
enjoyed meeting you. We will take you out for a drink next time we're in your
We
neighborhood.
plan on doing that's our goal of ours is going East Coast. I mean, we've been there before to New York together, but we've
Yeah.
never done the whole East Coast. Like I have a relative, a new half sister that I've found that has
cool.
visited us here, but in Delaware. So
Sure.
And so we are planning a trip sometime.
Okay.
up
Well,
east, so we can
honestly,
definitely give you a
please
ring.
look me up.
Yeah.
I will. You're very welcome. I will host you here in Rhode Island, the great state of Rhode Island. If you care to do any surfing, have anything like that, any kind of seafood, you're welcome to it here.
Awesome.
That would be awesome. And our door is open in Oklahoma or wherever we end up.
Okay, that sounds great. I will keep that in mind, and I will reach out to you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
James, thanks so
problem.
much. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now I'm set free.
Vinyl and Vision is a Psychic Static production. Theme song written and performed by Jeff Robbins of the 123 Astronaut.
Watching you bluff and scoop and look